We seem to be going through a boomer shooter renaissance of sorts, such as the release of Proteus and Quake 2 Remastered, to name a few. Now additionally, we've been graced with media such as the spectacular documentary FPS first-person shooter, which has not only left a mark on many, but also it's reignited the passion in numerous gamers for the genre, or at least for those who cross paths with it. It is a documentary I highly recommend giving it a watch. All of this said though, what's more exciting is when a team of developers takes what they've grown up with, adds their own distinctive flair, and attempts to build something unique. So how would I describe what Forgive Me Father is going for? It's a boomer shooter mixed with a hearty dose of horror, potent enough to make even Lovecraft proud. Can it deliver, however? That is the big question, so let's find out. My name's Alex, this is SwitchCorner, and today's video it was written by Asdin at Grinning Wolf Games and then converted to video by me. This is actually the first video to ever feature on SwitchCorner that I didn't personally write, and you may be asking why, and that is because Asdin is now part of XP Corner, our channel for all things non-Nintendo, as well as our website which covers all platforms. Going to be linking both of those down below alongside his personal Switch channel. Forgive Me Father is set in the 1920s and allows players to step into the shoes of either a priest or a reporter. Now the game kicks off with the receipt of a cryptic letter from our cousin. This note, it is filled with eerie accounts of missing individuals and strange occurrences. Now despite potential dangers, we promptly set off for the seemingly troubled town. A stupid decision in my opinion, but the game would be short-lived if these characters had a couple of brain cells to rub together. So once there, we are greeted by a distressing scene brimming with horrific creatures out to take our lives. As we do delve deeper into this nightmarish town then, things go from bad to worse as we uncover clues that suggest sinister cults and rituals may be behind these events. It's not a deep narrative, but it leads to a fun setting. So Forgive Me Father is a dark first-person shooter inspired by classic 90s FPS games and Lovecraftian lore. Now like any worthwhile boomer shooter, your main goal is to sprint around sizable levels, collecting up keys and items to find a way out. On your journey through these levels, you'll encounter first aid kits, health points, lore-enriching notes, and power-ups. Power-ups are particularly helpful, assisting you in blasting enemies back to the abyss they came from. The combat often feels chaotic, which is a positive. I relished in dodging and emptying clips into anything that even blinked. A core goal for the player then is to face the challenge of preserving their humanity against unpredictable circumstances. This feature initially seemed honestly gimmicky, but eventually added a distinct touch to the experience. It was refreshing to see the developers implement an element intended to make the game more high stakes than just a quick game over screen. So how do you monitor this? While you watch for the subtle transition of your screen losing color saturation. So if you look to the lower right of the screen, you'll find the madness bar. Now this bar fills up by defeating enemies and consuming alcohol. The level of madness you attain plays a critical role in your gameplay. The higher your madness level, the more damage you inflict on your enemies. Conversely, the damage you receive then from these enemies will decrease. It's an intriguing system that actually celebrates and rewards intensity. Each of the two characters plays pretty much the same, but they have differences in areas such as skill trees, artifacts, and plot points. So as you defeat enemies, your characters will level up. This skill tree is expansive, allowing you to upgrade your weaponry alongside the character. During gameplay, you're going to encounter base weapons which can undergo significant upgrades, resulting in game-changing effects. So for example, a weapon, one of them turns into a laser rifle, others might reward you with more XP. There's options such as unlimited ammo. Really cool way of kind of making the game change as you do progress. Then if you're not satisfied with what you are unlocking, there is an option to reset the skill tree, though do know this is limited. There are also then enchanted artifacts that offer additional support in tough situations. However, using these artifacts depletes your madness meter, so I often opted out of using them. Enemies then are expertly designed, offering a genuine challenge due to their unpredictability. Yes, of course, they're just going to charge at you most of the time, but they definitely have some unique forms. For example, zombies carry heads in their hands, so if you aim for a headshot and destroy it, the only way to kill them, they actually use these carried heads as replacements. So yeah, you're gonna have to take that one down too. My personal favorite challenge involves explosive barrels. Some of these barrels conceal a multi-eyed creature eager to launch a kamikaze attack your direction. Basically, Forgive Me Father just kept me guessing, kept me on the edge of my seat as I was navigating these locations, not quite sure what would come next. Regarding modes, once you have completed that first run, you can expect multiple difficulty options, and this game, it wasn't easy to begin with. Also alongside that, you will find a New Game Plus and Endless mode. Now shooter fans, they should find plenty basically to keep them coming back. That said, in terms of gameplay, there were a few areas that could benefit from a refinement. There's a few enemies that are definitely bullet sponges in my opinion. One oversight as well, in my view, is the absence of gyro controls. I genuinely hope to see this feature incorporated in a future update. Additionally, the map layout often proved to be a labyrinth kind of challenge, with the game's dark locations making it even harder to figure out where I was going. The lack of multiplayer then finally is also a curious omission when you factor in we get 2 characters to choose from, so why not allow for some co-op action, even if it was just a local play. Forgive Me Father's presentation boasts a hand-drawn comic book style aesthetic, providing a true and authentic nod to classic comics. While this style isn't entirely new and has been employed in other games, I do have a personal affinity for it. The in-game atmosphere is reminiscent of the eerie and foreboding tales signature to H.P. Lovecraft, plunging players into a world of, for lack of a better term, dread. I mean, to simplify it, it's simply unsettling. This all said, however, unfortunately the visuals are one of the biggest problems with the Switch builds. So here, texture popping is frequent, making it evident as both the world and the enemies, they visibly shift in detail dependent on your distance from them. Furthermore, the murky, grainy environments contrasted with the, bright enemy projectiles can create confusion, making it difficult to really anticipate enemies' actions. Often, players may only realize the threat when it is too late, and this complication magnifies as the game progresses and the enemy count increases. Surprisingly, when viewed in screenshots as well, the game exudes a polished look for the Switch. However, when the game is in motion, its imperfections surface. On a positive note, the game is still enjoyable despite these hiccups, and I'm also relieved to report that I faced no frame rate drops or crashes. One area of concern though is definitely the smaller font size, which can pose challenges, especially when trying to decipher these in-game notes. The game's soundtrack was commendable, although I felt a slight mismatch. Personally, metal and music didn't align seamlessly with the game's ambience. Despite the eerie visuals and idea, the music occasionally, I guess, lacked that spine-chilling touch, at times even detracting from the intended mood, because for me it gave me a little bit too much confidence. As for the voice acting, it's largely acceptable. The portrayals of both the priest and the journalist, they evoke memories of horror B-movie characters from the 80s, and that essentially leads to a mix in delivery quality. Some lines, they resonate more effectively than others. However, the standout audio component in this game is undoubtedly the gunplay. It excels in lending weight to the player's actions. Forgive Me Father is undeniably entertaining, boasting a range of modes and ample replay value for those keen to delve into all of its mysteries. However, the Switch version does present certain challenges. The lack of gyro controls is a missed opportunity, and extended gameplay can become visually taxing. Weirdly enough as well, the game's striking art style and enemy design, the standout kind of attraction I guess here with the package, presents the biggest problem on the Switch. Nevertheless, if these drawbacks do not deter you, the game promises a memorable experience and it earns a recommendation from me. For those seeking a more polished experience, however, it might be worthwhile to explore the game on another platform, because right now there's a great game in here, but you really have to squint at times to see it on the Switch. Moreover, with a sequel looming as well, the saga of Forgive Me Father is far from concluded, and I'm eagerly anticipating that next chapter. And that is the video down. Will you be checking out Forgive Me Father? Let us know in the comments. Another shout out then to Asdin for writing today's review. You can check out the written version over at xpcorner.net. So with that, hit subscribe, join us here for reviews, deals, news and lists daily, and I'll see you all on the next video. Thanks everyone.